Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stonetop. Thank you for joining us for session 4. It is a system in the sort of dungeon world hack realm, but it is kind of its own thing. And if you like what you see here tonight, you can back it on Kickstarter, where it went live today. This is the Happy Jacks RPG Network. To catch up on past episodes, visit happyjacks.org/stonetop. And to find all of the shows on our network, visit happyjacks.org/shows. Normally, I would introduce myself here, but I have salad in my mouth, which was a stupid decision I made. So we're going to start by introducing our players. Nick, why don't you begin?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Nick. I am, as you can see, I go by the handle Sungrowler down here, and today I am playing Braun, who is using the Fox playbook out of Stonetop. Stonetop, which is wildly successful and on Kickstarter now, and you should absolutely go check it out.
Yes, tell us a little bit more about Braun. What's he do? What's his deal?
Braun traveled away from Stonetop for quite a while, and he was a traveling trader. He is a deal maker and a prevaricator.
Prevaricator.
Yes, he is a bon vivant. He likes to talk. He likes to tell stories. Some of them are even true. And then he cares very deeply for this town that he left, and is now back in and wants to see it succeed. And so he's using his trading resources in order to kind of help bring it up.
Mo, why don't you introduce yourself next?
My name is Carlo. I'm the marshal, and I was passing through Stonetop when a woman accused me of being the father of her child. Wasn't the first time this had happened, but I had already killed her husband, and she said she was on her deathbed, so I decided to stick around and make things right. I have a small party of misbegotten rogues and wayward children, and a big dog named Durr.
Durr, fan favorite, and I appreciate you getting so into character, but your name is not actually Carlo, correct? Your name is not actually Carlo, correct?
As far as everybody at Stonetop is aware.
I mean, you, the player.
Oh, my name is Mo.
That's what I was going for. We did it. We got there. Blythe, if you'll say hello.
Hello, everybody. I am Blythe, and I play Tiern, the eccentric school teacher who is into kind of magic and the dark arts, and also wants to educate kids and show them that they don't have to live in the small town forever, that they can achieve their dreams. And she may or may not also be studying up the Fae for reasons related to maybe.
Yeah, that's great. We're gonna have a spectacular season finale wedding, and
Gotta have a wedding episode.
yeah, exactly. God, now I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. It's gonna happen. I'm Emily Vanderwerf. I am your GM for the evening, and yeah, I love this system. I love this game. If you want to back it on Kickstarter, it's a good group of people behind it, and it's going to be a really good game. There is so much lore that I have not even begun to bring into this game. There's so much lore, if you like lore. Mac, our other player, could not join us this evening, and we wish her well. And yeah, if somebody wants to give a recap of last week's events, I will give you 2 free rolls at advantage, the only prize I know how to give.
Who wants to do it?
Going once.
I can do it, but I did it last time. I don't want to take all your rolls.
I hear Nick diving in.
Well, I was about to take a stab at it, but I didn't have notes, so I'm just racking my brain to make sure that I can remember this. I believe we opened up inside a mysterious magical hut where we had found Tiern's student Anouk and Dolores, who we had been chasing and trying to protect. Dolores was unconscious and sort of mumbling, and Anouk was listless and staring out the window looking for him to show up. And so we came in, and there was a delicious stew that was bubbling away on the hearth, which Braun was very interested in having some, but kept getting interrupted from doing so. We, let's see, Tyrn was able to unpoison Dolores and kind of get her back to semi-consciousness away from there. And then we all sort of tried to talk to Anouk and convince her that what was going on was a bad idea and that perhaps we should leave. And then he showed up, the Great One, a Greater Fae, who had heard her calling out and hoping that she wouldn't have to go through and marry some guy who she didn't want to, and spirit her away. And we ended up having Elsa, Jesus, it's not like I have not played with this game before. Elsa challenged him to a game of chance called Parsnips, which we have developed, which he claimed to have invented, and was a renowned player across all time and space and dimensions. But she was able to beat him, and in doing so was able to free Anouk and arrange safe passage for all of us, due in large part to Braun's help, distracting him and creating quite a verbal nuisance of himself, as he is wont to do. And eventually we were able to escape with Anouk and Dolores in tow. The Great One told us that he would be seeing us all later in various levels of threat that might include, and got back and spoke to Anouk's parents in order to make sure that she could go away to university and learn, rather than being stuck marrying some horrible older widower who had already lost a couple of wives in somewhat mysterious circumstances. There was some talk that Carlo's kid was going to marry Anouk, and then there was a little bit of a reunion between Tyrn and her boyfriend, who suddenly didn't look quite so interesting anymore now that she had a potential offer from Great Fae as a suitor. And I believe that's just about everything, but if I missed something, please let me know.
That's absolutely perfect. Thank you so much, Nick. You get your 2 advantage rolls. Yeah, we're going to be doing a Parsnips app connected to this game, where you too can play Parsnips, just $5. You can look for that on the Apple Store. I don't know. There's not actually a Parsnips app.
We should do a Parsnips ARG.
Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Yeah. So the other thing that happened was we advanced seasons, and it is now summer, and yeah, we are having a lovely summer in Stonetop, and it is the hottest day of the year. It's about noon. Y'all are out in the fields. Like, this is the thing. In the summer, everybody goes out and works in the fields. You know, they have shifts and such, but the 3 of you happen to be in the fields at the same time today, because that's what the mayor, her name is Heron, what she said she put you on that shift because she controls all the shifts, apparently. So tell me a little bit about how your approach to working in the fields is, especially on a day when it is so very, very hot.
Braun is finding ways to be in the shade as much as possible, and volunteering to do things like go get water and bring everybody water, and then sort of mosey through that sort of task, or anything that involves being over by where that tree happens to be conveniently, or underneath the wagon that needed to be fixed. Anything that gets him out of that beating sun in Stonetop.
Your good friend Wynn, they just shake their head as you walk by on yet another journey back to the village to get water, because they are like digging in the ground and just covered in sweat. But yeah,
is there anything special I can get you, Wynn? I'll be right back. I'm just getting more water for everyone.
You know what's special you can get me is you could come here and help me dig up this tree root.
Oh, of course, of course. I'll be there in just a moment. I wouldn't want to leave everyone waiting for water.
They watch you go off and shake their head. Tyrion, there's no school in session in the summer because everyone has to work in the fields. How are you at working in the fields?
Um, I feel like I'm really good at actually like planting the seeds and kind of actually watching and monitoring growth. I'm not like great at, you know, picking. Like I can pick the stuff, but I'm not great at like lugging things or using heavy machinery. But Tyrion tries her best and picks what can be picked and has helped grow what can be grown. That's what her actions like. She'll do like nice little charms and stuff for the earth and make it like she'll do some blessings and stuff, and then during the actual crop season she's like just tries her best to help.
Ailish is trying to work near you. This is the boy that you had a crush on, and he had a crush on you. He's trying to work near you a lot and trying to talk to you as you're working. Is this welcome or?
Yeah, Tyrion still does think he's a nice guy and does enjoy talking to him. She can't shake the mind of a fairy king, but she can't shake that out of her mind. But she still really likes Ailish, and she enjoys talking to him. It helps keep her company and distracts her from how much her hands are starting to hurt, and back and stuff and feet.
Mm-hmm. He does keep asking. We're good, right? Like everything's fine. I didn't do anything, right? You just seem a little distant.
No, you didn't do anything. I just, after we went in the woods, we experienced some really tough stuff, and I just had lots been on my mind lately. But we're fine, and I really enjoy your company, and I'm glad you're keeping me company during all this.
Carlo, what's your day like out in the fields?
The summer is when Stonetop remembers why I'm fun to have around. Zeb and I are out doing backbreaking work, singing loud songs that people around us after a couple weeks have kind of picked up the lyrics to. And it's almost more of a party as we sing and pick and sing and pick. And the mood is high and everyone is happy to be working and everyone will sleep well. Everybody is happy to be out working except for Kylie, my daughter, who is the spunky kid I try to keep out of trouble, who I have really tried to kind of get her sticking around Dolores. And I'm trying to get them to hang out together.
How's that going?
I think my daughter doesn't trust any of my instincts. And Dolores is a bit when she's not lost, when she doesn't lose herself in the fun, she's not sure why I'm keeping her around and close to my daughter. And so the two of them are kind of growing to be friends in their distrust of me.
Okay.
And not knowing what I'm up to.
Okay.
Trying to keep them hanging out together.
Yeah, I just did a roll, and Dolores does not like you. So, but I think she's getting there with Kylie. Yeah. What's your parenting style? How do you keep Kylie on the straight and narrow?
I try to scare her with gory stories, and I let her know she has as much leash as she wants, and really bad things can happen. And the really bad thing I keep coming back to is her getting pregnant.
Okay. Bethan, who is the widow who knows everything and is also let's say a good friend of Carlo. She wanders out into sort of near where. Are y'all working close to each other? I should establish that. Like, are you within range of each other? they're pretty big fields. They surround the town. So
People are working as close to me as they can because it's fun.
Mhm.
And the mayor likes it because even though I make a loud noise and I make a cacophony, like people actually do the work. Like I don't let people come and stand around and sing and not work. So people are being more productive. But some of the Stonetown inhabitants think I'm really loud, and if I weren't working so hard, like
Yeah.
they would say something about it.
Bron, we have established you went back to town. So
Yeah, but I mean, I've been back and forth, so I can be wherever you need me to be.
Yeah.
It's
Are you anywhere? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that where it comes to Carlo, if you come for the show, then you better learn how to hoe, or you better learn how to sew.
Tian, are you anywhere near Carlo?
Yeah, I think, after our experience in the woods, we've become better friends. So I think I'm over there kind of humming along and enjoying it. It's nice to be around. It helps make the labor better.
Yeah. Ailish is singing very loudly. He has a terrible voice that he's singing extremely loudly, just along with every song that Carlo brings up. Like he's learned all of them at this point.
I think he was he the first one to pick them all up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, like, just over there, just a few rows away, like Wynn all by themselves is continuing to dig up this tree root.
When I get back, I will go help Wynn for legitimately. I'm not going to leave my friend hanging in the wind.
Go ahead.
Oh, just Nick said in the wind, and I was like, their name is Wynn.
Yay. Yeah, so Bethan kind of comes up and sidles up to Carlo and is like, are you going to come by tonight? The kids are going to be out sleeping under the stars.
And I should. I want to make sure everything's secure around there.
Yeah. Your daughter won't be coming in and making a fuss?
I have eyes on her, and she doesn't want to be around underfoot, so.
And she says, you hear this? You hear about this thing with the sheep, right? You heard what the shepherds have been saying, right?
They're always saying something. What are they saying now?
They say all the lambs died. One of them had like a little lamb body. And that would be like really hard. Like that would be like really weird though, right? Like if that happened, and they didn't like it wasn't like an attack. It was just like they all got sick all at once.
All right. I know somebody who might know something about it.
Okay.
I'll check in.
I'll see you tonight.
I start singing really loud, and I sing a song that might be a little racy, and she rolls her eyes and walks away.
So just to clarify this, the shepherds are off in the wilds right now. They've taken the sheep out into the high pastures. So the sheep are all off somewhere else. And the shepherds only come into town if there's something pretty grave. So if this truly did happen, then it would be
right.
Pretty serious. So yeah, please go ahead.
And is sheep what our town does best?
Yes. There is a certain kind of sheep that I need to look up, but there is a very specific sheep that is. Continue talking because I can't find it.
So I would continue working for the rest of the day. And I'm sorry, they're being born with small hearts?
They just all seem like they got sick. Like nobody knows what's happening. That's what the shepherds have said. It's like they all just woke up one morning and they were just all sick. And then it wasn't even 36 hours. This is the gossip in town.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. So I would work the day and, as the evening wears on, we, the day cools down and more and more people want to go for water. And, yeah, I kind of make sure I'm one of the last ones in the field, but I would beckon Taryn over if I saw her ready to leave.
Yeah. As Tyrion is kind of cleaning up and putting away her, her work basket, she'll walk over to you.
Have you heard about the shepherds?
I don't hear much about the livestock. What's going on?
They all turned sick one day, and the livestock all turned sick and started dying while they were out in the woods, forest foraging. And this is the kind of stuff I'm comfortable with. Things just suddenly happening to dozens or hundreds of livestock. And I know you know people.
I can look around. I mean, it might just be something they ate that's in the wilds. That if they all ate it.
Yeah.
I'll check and make sure, but it could be a perfectly natural cause. And let's hope it's something like that, right?
Let's. If you have to go out in the wilderness, let me know. Obviously, we can't have our teacher go out in the woods alone.
Well, I would be happy to adventure again with you too. I do think it might be good for me to go collect some samples from wherever they were. Because like I said, if it's magical, that'll be a little easier to suss out in terms of not going into the wilds. If it's something in the wilds, though, I'll need to get samples of any grass or water they might have consumed. I mean, we know that things are weird out there.
They are a day and a half south of town, so it would be quite a journey to go out to where they are, just letting you know that. And they're out just kind of out in the middle of the high pasture, so they're not in the woods, which are back behind the town. But yeah, you would know that. Go ahead.
So I'm assuming that Cira was working on the other side of the fields, because otherwise there's no possible way that Tyrn wouldn't know about the sheep. That's the little girl from the school who would talk about sheep
Lyra,
for like...
Lyra.
Oh, Lyra. Yeah. Couldn't read my notes there.
She knows everything about the type of sheep. She just doesn't know anything about how they're doing, because Lyra just gives exposés on the sheep themselves. Like,
Lyra and Anouk have been put in charge of looking after the children who are too young to work in the fields. So that is where they are. Bron, your sister, whose name I need to remind myself of, Brina, she is... where do you go at night after you're done working?
I have a shop that is close by the main gates. I think we put a mark on where it was in the on the map. But yeah, so I have like a little apartment over the shop.
Mm-hmm.
So first floor.
Yeah. So Brina, there's a knock at your door, and it's Brina, and she's like, "Can I come in?" Fenwick is in town. Fenwick is her husband and one of the shepherds.
Oh, of course, please.
And she closes the door behind her and is like, "Listen, he's saying the most unbelievable things, but I mean, would you come and talk to him at least? Like, you went and saved the town or something. I don't, everyone was like, y'all are heroes."
Bron's chest puffs up just a little bit. Yes, well, of course. Happy to find out. Is there something wrong? Is Fenwick okay?
Fenwick is fine. It's the sheep. There's just, what would happen if we lost a whole bunch of sheep here in Stonetop.
Of course.
And
I involuntarily kind of like glance over at my ledger, where I have money on sheep futures and wool.
Well, listen, if you can find anybody to come and just kind of talk to Fenwick, or if you just want to come, I don't know. He sounds kind of like he's out of his mind, but could
Uh,
be he's saying the truth.
I'm happy to go talk to him and find out. And if there's anything that sounds reasonable or suspicious, then I know several people who would be able to help investigate, and we could try and get to the bottom of the matter. But if it's just a little bit of heat stroke or something of that nature, then I'll do my best to put you at ease as well.
She stops at the door as she's leading you to Fenwick. She stops at the door and waits there, and she turns back, and then she's going to go, and then she turns back, and then she's going to, and then finally she turns back and says, you just made up that you fought a fairy king in hand-to-hand combat and won, right? Like, that's not true. I've heard that around town, but that's not true, right?
Well, it's not true. Um, there was honest truth. There was some sort of unknowably and powerful being. Whether that was a fairy king or not, I couldn't say. I haven't traveled to the far realms as much as I have spread stories about having done so. And we did defeat him in a contest of skill and wits and acumen. But as far as hand to hand, well, and I hold up my as soft as can be hands. That's not exactly where I would have placed myself in such a contest, if you recall.
That's what I thought. I assumed that if you beat a fairy king, it was because you talked him to death. All right, let's go see Fenwick.
And I grin and I say, but please, if you wouldn't mind, I don't mind the attention and reputation that has spread. This is between family.
Yes, of course. I'll let everyone continue to believe whatever they want about you. Her little house is right by the general store where she works. And Fenwick, normally you wouldn't see him all summer. He'd come back in with the lambs and sheep in the fall. But he is indeed there. He's sitting at the table. He looks white as a sheet. And he's nursing a mug of ale.
Fenwick, my friend. So good to see you. Unexpected, but a welcome surprise. Here, and I will pass over a flask that I keep with me, that has good booze. You look like you look like you need something. Are you all right?
It's disaster. And then he sort of just gestures with his finger to like a small bundle in the corner. Go and have a look.
Of course, disaster. That sounds awful, but surely we can overcome. And I will, like, seeing that as I walk over and take a look at the bundle.
There is the body of a lamb. It looks like it's just asleep. It does not appear to have any sort of outward destruction, danger. Just looks like it's asleep, but it is clearly dead. And he says they're all like that. This spring's entire flock. I want to cut back to the other two. Tyrn, Carlo, did you continue to sort of stay chatting about this, or did you split off in different directions?
I imagine we continued to chat about it, trying to come up with some kind of course of action. But you could tell me if you went to go see your lover.
I would have chatted with you about it for a short time before getting everybody cleaned up and making sure that Shen checked up on Anouk to make sure she was okay. And then I'd head back. I'd probably head back to town because I assume we would knock off before dark.
Yeah. You'd probably knock off around like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. going by.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'd help my people get all their equipment back up to the shop and definitely try to put a scare into Kylie before sitting down, acting like I'm going nowhere tonight.
Are you really gonna be here all night? Like all night, all night? Sometimes you go out. Are you gonna be here?
Are you planning on, smuggling some meat in and having company?
I was gonna have Dolores over, and just Dolores.
Okay. Then sure. I can make myself scarce.
Hey, well, you better. And don't come home until tomorrow because, Dolores and I get pretty rowdy. Like, no other reason.
You know when you tell me that, I have to come home early, right?
Kylie's not that bright. Yeah, you're right. Okay. We're going to have some boys over. It's nothing. It's fine. It's fine. We're not going to do anything. They're just coming over.
Who?
Well, we were thinking about Val, Val and Val and Stuart. Those two guys. They're cool. They're not like the baddest boys in town, but they are aspiring bad boys.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you guys just stay out of trouble, okay?
Oh, okay, yeah, of course, sure. Yeah, have fun with whatever it is that you do at the Widow Bethan's house.
Whatever it is.
Great. Tyrion, what are you up to?
Well, after we finish talking, Tyrion's gonna grab some of her stuff from her study and go over to the Elsa's and start studying some stuff that might cause a sickness of that sort.
Mm-hmm. The people here are gossiping about the shepherd who came down from the hills and saying it's Fenwick. So you could put two and two together if you wanted to. You would know who Fenwick is, basically.
Yeah. Then I'll probably go ask him some questions.
Okay. I'm gonna say you show up just as Braun is lifting up this sheet. And Fenwick looks at you and says, "Oh, you're the school teacher, right? Yes. Oh, yes, because my son, little Darby, yeah, he's one of your youngest."
Yeah, he's a really bright boy. Really, really taken to reading.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. Yeah, I guess you're here to look at you're here to look at the sheep.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about it, or I was going to try and see if I could do some research on the sickness. I do have a bit of medicine skill.
Okay, sure. It's right over there if you want to look at it, or I can answer whatever questions you want.
I'll take a look at it. You get a good drink. And she kind of laughs and walks over to the lamb.
Tyrion is very accomplished and knows many things. I'm sure that she'll be able to figure something out about this terrible thing. But come, tell me more about what happened. Did something get into their feed? Did they stray somewhere? I mean, all of the ones born.
It was just this spring's lambs. The yearlings, the older ewes and rams are all fine. We checked for the brook where they've been drinking. There does not seem to be poison in it. The grass seems fine. It's just the lambs.
And all of the other sheep seem fine? No other strange behavior?
Oh, not as far as we can see. They graze and they drink and they graze and they drink, and it's very hot, so they sleep a lot. But that's normal. That's normal for summer.
It's so sad. I don't know what to say. I mean, this is a catastrophe. It's awful. I'm so sorry. I'm sure Tyrion will be able to find something of a cause, and we'll be able to take a look at something. But this is very serious, and I'll be commiserating and being in the cups as well.
And he, as Jane, he looks at you and says, loud enough for both Tyrn and Brina to hear. When you were at fisticuffs with the Fairy King, what was his fighting style? How did you best him?
Uh, it was very wild, and throwing haymakers and just being full of force and personality. And I dodged and ducked and weaved and spent the moment until I could take my shot right in the solar plexus, doubled him over, and his foot lashed out and knocked me to the ground. And I rolled back and smacked my head, but sprang back up ready into a crouch. And as I was there and he was there, he rushed me, and I dodged aside, and his head smacked into the wall. And then I gave him a big two-handed chop across the back and flattened him out on the ground. And we dragged him by the feet and threw him out into the pasture and said, "Don't come back. We bested you before, and we'll best you again, and no trickery here, no acts of vengeance. We beat you fair and square. This was a challenge of honor."
Tyrn is gonna walk over and go, "Hey, you left out the best part. Elsa, come on, Elsa got that really good shot in. Like, how can you leave her out?"
Of course, I could not help. I apologize. It was a group effort. All of us were helping. Elsa did some fantastic distraction, and then also got just a nice solid shot in on the back and the kidney. Distracted him at a key moment, and Tyrn was there, and what was it you did? Was it a chair that you hit him with?
Oh yeah, I picked up that chair and I just whacked it over the back of the head, and then Ilsa got that really great kidney shot in, and then you kicked him right in the face, bloody nose and everything.
Right. So Darby is in excellent hands. I couldn't imagine that he would be safer when he's in school than to have such a wildcat like Tyrn defending him.
Wow, it's been so long since Stonetop saw true heroes, but the four of you, your exploits have become legend.
Oh, it's nothing. Anyone would have done the same. We're just here and happy to help.
Tyrn, do you have anything you want to do?
Yeah, Tyrn wants to look over the lamb and start kind of examining, at least precursory, to see if she can figure out if it was poison, magic, like what might have caused it.
Sure. So yeah, that's probably discern realities.
Also,
but if you want to,
she's doing that, she's kind of like very quietly is like, "Sorry, Fairy King."
He hurt you. He heard. He knows.
And she's just like, "I just wanted Elsa to have a good moment."
Okay.
Hey, she wants Elsa to look good. All right, Discern reality. Oh no.
Do you have things in your special moves that you could use?
If I spouted lore, I could, but for discern realities, unless it's something I know really well, because like I have knowledge in the Black Gates, the Fae now, the Maker and their arts, and the things below.
The Black Gates do involve death, so I'll give it to you if you want it, or if you can give me a reason you would be able to spout lore about sheep sickness. Like if there's a tale in the books that you've read, I'm happy to hear about it.
Well, I think in this case, Black Gates and death are more accurate to me. But I also think I've heard Lyra say a lot about the different types of illnesses sheeps can get.
Mhm.
So, like, while I haven't heard anything about this, I'm sure Lyra has been like, and then they can get dysentery from water, and then they can also get this and that, and like I'm sure she's prattled on about sheep illness before. and how to give them medicine.
Great. I'll give it to you.
Uh,
Lyra is sheep Wikipedia, so.
yeah, she's sheepopedia. No, sheepopedia.
Sheepopedia. Yeah.
Wikishepia?
Yeah.
Because yeah, I rolled real bad on that certain realities. So if I can spout lore, I will use my books and scrolls, which I'm sure have refreshed over time.
Yes, they have. They refresh before every season, so you have, yes.
And then so that will make it a 10+.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Let me pull up the moves. Where are you? Spell lore. Wait.
Now, this is a move where you can also make stuff up if you want, but
Yeah, no.
but I am happy to tell you some of what's going on here. So it's
Yeah.
a 10+, yeah.
So she's looking over and kind of checking for. She starts off checking signs of like bite marks or puncture wounds to see if maybe there was some kind, something that way. And then she starts looking at she starts basically doing as much as she can without cutting into it.
Yeah. There are, when you open up, you pry open the lamb's mouth a little bit, and inside of it you find a flower you recognize as nightshade, which is very poisonous, but also doesn't grow anywhere near here, much less near where the sheep would be eating. They're up very high. Nightshade doesn't really grow up that high, and it would either grow deep in the woods or like in a swamp or something like that, somewhere where there's a little bit more humidity and a little bit more like open whatever. I don't know if this is true about actual nightshade, chat. I am so sorry. This is how nightshade works in the Stonetop universe, and we just decreed it. But yeah, you see some nightshade in there. And you know enough about nightshade from your studies to be like, oh, this should not be in this lamb's mouth. And also, if the sheep were feeding on nightshade, the shepherds A probably would have noticed it, and B, like, more sheep than just the lambs would be dead.
Does it look like someone stuffed that in there, or like it was eating it?
Oh, it's between its teeth. It was chewing on it. Yeah.
Okay. So Tyrn is gonna go over to Fenwick and kind of she's not gonna take it out or anything, but did anyone feed the lambs on their own by chance?
It's very hard to say. They wander about all over the hills. The dogs keep an eye on them. We are able to see them to some degree, but if they are behind a glen or something like that, we can't always tell. But we were out in such a remote area. The only ones around there would perhaps be hill folk, but we haven't seen any hill folk all summer.
Well, did any of your group mysteriously disappear at one point?
Not that I could say. I don't recall such a thing happening.
Well, the lamb here has eaten nightshade.
Nightshade? I would have noticed if the sheep were eating nightshade.
This lamb has it in its mouth and was chewing on it.
Well, that would explain that, but where would nightshade have come from?
That's why I'm asking if anyone might have given the lambs something, just because you said it was just the lambs, right?
Yes. If they were to give the lambs something, they would surely give the ewes and the rams that instead. That would knock us back for several years. Losing 1 year's flock is, it is not a good thing, but it can be recovered from quickly. Losing the rams and ewes would have been devastating, and yet they live.
I can't presume. I'm going to have to see if there's some kind of ritual or something that might want lambs involved, but it seems like somebody fed the lambs nightshade,
Well,
or something.
this is truly a disaster indeed. I thank you for your quick work. You are truly as smart as Braun said you would be, and heroic.
I don't know about that second part, but thank you. Do you mind if I take the lamb? I know that sounds weird, but I'd be able to do more studies on it.
No, go, please, go ahead. As you are leaving, if you wish to leave. I don't know if you're planning.
Yeah, I'm going to, but I'm going to give him a coin for his troubles to get a drink because he seems like he's had a day.
As you are leaving, he calls out to you and says, "Is it true the Fairy King was so bewitched by your beauty that he could not speak?"
She kind of like stops and is like, who told you that?
Oh, it has been heard among the shepherds. We tell tales.
I mean, he was very kind and generous after we fought him. After we took him down, he seemed to respect us, and I don't know if he was that interested, but he was definitely he was nice. And she kind of was like turning bright red, like is like so red.
Not just the King of the Fairies was struck silent.
Yeah, she looks at Braun and is like, "I backed you up on the fight thing. Help me."
Truly, he was smitten and bowed down and asked for Tiern's hand in marriage, and she spurned him, which is in fact what started this fight over her honor. He was going to behave like a base cad and spirit her away without her permission and consent, and the rest of us could not allow such a slanderous thing to occur. And so to defend her honor and allow her the right to choose who and when she wishes to marry, we had to teach him a lesson. But he acquitted himself very admirably and nobly after his ignoble maneuver, and apologized most profusely. And I think perhaps our good lady teacher may have a soft spot in her heart for him.
He was very gentlemanly. I will give him that. And she just
once taught his bounds, of course.
Fenwick just is like looking up, gazing into the sky, and is like, "Whoa! If a fairy queen came to me and said, 'Yes, you must be my husband,' I would go. Oh, riches, youth eternal, living forever, everything you could possibly dream of. How could one turn down such an offer?" And like Brina swats him.
You would abandon my sister for the
No, of course not. Before
the affection of a fairy queen?
Before I knew your sister, I apologize profusely.
Tyrion just kind of laughs and she's like, "There are some, things one must consider before accepting such an offer, even if the Fairy King is more handsome than any man you've ever seen." Ever. But she is now, she's like so red. All of the blood has rushed to her face, and she is like kind of like her hair's in a braid from the day. She always keeps it kind of pulled back, and she's like like very nervously tugging at it.
I'm gonna cut back to Carlo here, but as you are leaving, you hear Fenwick saying, "And I've heard the marshal's dog grew as big as a house in this fight. And I have learned that the bartender, Ilsa, I have learned that she rode a silver stag through the night. All of these things. So true." Let's go back to Carlo. Carlo, what are you up to with the widow? I haven't made graphic detail, but go ahead.
I haven't made it to the widow.
Okay.
I heard that Fenwick was in town, so I'm kind of waiting outside of Braun's place, hoping to ambush some young men out looking for adventure. So, let me know if I can see Val and Stewart idling around town.
Oh, there they are. Yeah, they're just kind of walking slowly down the street, looking around. They are passing a flask back and forth, one of those big, like, wine flasks.
So I go have a talk with them.
Oh, dude. Oh, Marshall.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Oh, we are having an evening perambulation. Just a walk around town. It is very warm inside our houses, and we thought we would go for a walk. And Stuart says, "Nowhere near your house, of course." And like Val like nudges him like that.
Well, I have bad news for you, gentlemen.
Oh,
I think my daughter likes one of you.
oh, which one?
And so that makes me very concerned. And I give them both a squeeze on each shoulder. I'm standing between them. I give them a squeeze on each shoulder. And I say, the bad part about this is that if anything happened to her, I would come looking to you two for answers.
Oh, nothing would happen. We are gentlemen.
And that's the good thing about this. I know you would let no harm come to my daughter.
Yes.
I know
absolutely.
you would not lay a hand on her.
No, never.
And if
Not
she laid a hand on you, you would spurn her. I know that.
And Stuart blurts out, Val and Kylie have been together kissing in the barn loft. I saw them.
I'm sure it won't happen again.
And Val's very. It was one innocent kiss, nothing more than that. I would never, ever do that.
Me and the mayor, we often talk about when things happen around here. How, look, it's hot. People are tired. They need to let off some steam. And I think people should be held accountable for their actions. But she thinks that fits of passion, when someone is very angry, is kind of forgivable.
Understood.
Don't make me angry, boys.
You have intimidated them, but I want you to roll 2d6 plus charisma just to see how much you've intimidated them. Plus
So
charisma.
I rolled a 7 plus 2 is 9.
Oh yeah, they're quite intimidated. It'll wear off in time. You know, they'll get bolder in time, but they're gonna be on their absolute best behavior tonight.
I don't have to worry about tonight.
Yeah, tonight. You probably don't have to worry about this month, honestly. But yeah, they're good boys. They're good.
Yes.
Boys. I'm trying. So yeah, do you head on to the widows, or were you gonna go check in on Fenwick?
I would be waiting for the boys to come by, or waiting for someone to come out of Fenwick's. And if those things happened in a particular order, then I would not go into bronze. Otherwise, I would go into bronze.
Oh, they're at Brina's house, Fenwick and Brina's house, which is a little ways down, but you could see it from here, I believe.
Oh, so it's outside of, it's down the hill?
Yeah, you're like Bronze house is right here, and then down the street is Brina's house. So yeah, you would be able to see Tyrion come out of there.
Okay.
And I'm holding a lamb, but you don't see that.
I would try to catch up with her. Schoolmistress.
Yes. Hi.
Did you is Fenwick still about?
Yeah, he's in there. I gave him a coin to get a drink. He seems like he's having a rough day. The lambs I have. She's kind of like holding it and kind of has it wrapped up. She's like, they seem to have gotten a hold of Nightshade somehow, which I don't know how much you know about Nightshade, but it's poisonous.
Yeah, I don't eat nightshade. Nightshade's, yeah.
And so I'm taking a lamb home to see if I can find out more. If if it's been planted there, no pun intended, or if it's another cause or something.
So you think this is a natural thing?
Well, it could be as simple as someone gave the lambs nightshade, which would be very bad, and we should figure out who did that. Or it could be not natural, and I'm just gonna go make sure.
Okay.
I think about that time, Bron will come out. I stayed for a moment to talk to Brina and tell her to take care of Fenwick, and that we would look into the sheep issue, and not to let him get too distressed. But obviously he has a little bit to work through based on this tragedy, and to make sure that he gets some rest. But not to fear. We'll look into it, and surely such heroes such as ourselves couldn't fail to figure this out as well. So I come out from the home and see the two of you standing there.
If I can say, Fenwick comes out behind you and sees Carlo and says, "As big as a house," and then walks off.
Yeah, swaying a little bit.
Okay.
The mighty Dur grew as big as a house when we taught the Fairy King some manners. Don't look at me. That's not from my lips. But I didn't dissuade him either. Think of how easy your job will be if people think that Dur can grow as big as a house should the need arise.
Sorry. Small towns.
But it's good to see you. Just the person I was going to look for.
Oh.
And I can see Tyrn in the bundle and everything, and so I assume Tyrn has filled you in on this situation.
Yeah.
As much as we know so far.
Yeah. If you think this is a natural thing, I can send some people out, and we can find who did it.
Well, I want to make sure. See, some magic rituals can require sacrifices or souls. It could. What's weird is that it was only the lambs. And I feel like if someone wanted to mess up our livestock, they might just give everyone nightshade, or a large amount nightshade, not just specifically the lambs. And so I want to make sure that this isn't, something more nefarious than what we think.
And are we sure this isn't your friend? He kind of has a grin when he says that and looks at Tyrn.
He kind of thinks for a moment on the Fae, and now that I have studied the Fae, can I maybe spout some lore about that?
Absolutely.
Let's see if my dice are being. Oh my god! I gotta stop using this digital dice roller.
Keep marking that XP.
Yeah. Holy cow. What's weird is it doesn't tell me that it doesn't, in the books and scrolls, it doesn't say if I don't mark XP when I fail or not.
I think I'm going to say you still do. And if designer Jeremy Strandberg, whose game Stonetop is on Kickstarter right now, wishes to correct me, he can do that.
All right. So I'm going to mark another thing. So I've used 2 out of my 5 to see if I can spout lore about the Fae and if this is something they would do. And she's kind of like, I don't think so. Based on what I do know of the Fae, it doesn't seem like something they would do. They're tricksters, and if they're pissed at us for some reason, once again, I think they would just affect all of our livestock or affect us directly. I don't think they would just kill the lambs.
This feels like a warning.
It's definitely not good. It could have been natural, but whoever did it is still not a good person. These are, look at it. It's an innocent baby lamb.
Tyrn, do you want to know some lore that you can spout?
Sure. Yes.
If you are like, all of what you said is true. If you say it, it's true. I make it true, but I can give you more if you like.
I would like some more. Sure.
There are stories. They are not verified. They are just kind of old folk tales that have been passed down about the Fae stealing the young to spirit them away to their fairy kingdom forever. But in general, those are replaced by dummy changeling types, or they just disappear entirely. The stories don't have anything about them being murdered. But when there's a die-off like this, or when there is a situation where a bunch of young people, or young things, I guess I should say, seem as though they are gone, they used to blame that on the Fae. Whether that was the right thing to do, who knows?
Yeah. So she's like, well, yeah. Okay, they have been known to spirit away children, but that's usually, and they're usually replaced with changelings, or just taken. It's not like they usually kill them. This pattern, in the past, other humans have blamed it on the Fae, but it doesn't fit patterns of how they handle things. But I could believe that a human who worships the Fae might think they're doing something for them.
It seems as though it would be very difficult for everyone for one or even several to get all of the lambs without getting anything else and not be seen by the shepherds or the dogs, or accidentally feed Nightshade to another one of the woolly walkers. They're not especially bright.
Lambs are babies. They're fairly trusting. If you get it just right, you might be able to.
Well, per Fenwick, they all became sick at the same time, so someone would have needed to have fed that to all of the lambs within the space of a day, at least, for them all to fall sick and die at the same time.
Yeah, and he also said they tend to go off on their own in places that they can't always see. So if the dogs didn't see them, or the dogs were somehow dissuaded, or
Sure, it just seems if they were in different groups, when the U's watching over them, it seems difficult to have one person have done such a thing. I'm not saying that it's supernatural, but if it was some sort of a first strike against us, it was exceedingly cunning, a sly lance of the lambs.
All y'all, rolling my eyes and shaking my head for the podcast listeners at that. All y'all, if you roll discern realities, which is plus wisdom, just tell me who what you get.
Who is that?
Well, everybody.
Oh, okay.
11.
11?
That's 10.
Okay.
Uh, 6, but I do have perceptive, so I still get one question on a 6 minus.
Okay. Well, I literally I'm doing a perception check.
Oh, okay.
So Braun continues to talk, and like there is a loud clatter from a nearby doorway, and Tyrn and Carlo both notice this. Look over to see it and see Dolores kind of skulk out of the doorway. She was nearby. Whether she was listening in, who knows? While Braun continues to talk.
Tyrn is gonna nudge Braun and then kind of point to Carlo like, I like the kid, she's nice, but we should probably figure out how much she heard.
Why? What? She knows a little bit about magic and
Well, maybe she can help us, but I also don't want her going.
spreading rumors about us beating up the Fairy King
Listen, I only did.
and giant dogs.
It's the more we can keep this under control, it's probably for the best. Also, the only rumor I spread was that Elsa got a shot in, and Elsa did take down the Fairy King. And she kind of looks at Braun like, "Give Elsa her glory."
I'll make sure that I apologize. I'll make sure that there is a better retelling of that.
I go trying to catch up with Dolores.
She's not hard to catch up with. She's a little bit drunk.
Oh, hey, young lady.
Hi, Marshall. I'm just going to see your daughter right now.
Excellent. You don't know anything about these lambs, do you?
Oh, no, of course not. What would I know about the lambs?
I don't know. You're not one to ever get in trouble, he says with a smile.
No, I don't. What happened to the lambs? I haven't heard anything about this. And like, she was right there, so.
We're trying to figure it out. Help us out and don't spread any rumors.
Okay. I want you to roll parley on her, which is plus charisma.
Uh-oh. So I roll a 9 plus 2 is 11.
Okay. And she looks around and is like, so I shouldn't tell you this. I really shouldn't tell you this. But like all the lambs died, right?
That's what I'm hearing.
When we were in the woods, they said there was a lot of die-off there. That it just seemed like a lot of things were dead, and I worried it would spread, and Nook said it wouldn't spread, but I don't know why she thought that. But yeah, we saw a bunch of like dead baby animals. It was really sad.
Do you have
I
any
cried.
idea why?
No, we didn't stop to look. I didn't want to look at them. It was really sad.
Got it.
Can I go
Hey,
now? Yeah.
Go have a good time.
Okay.
And you don't have to tell your daughter you saw me. I don't want you to not look cool.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I hope Stuart's there. Haha. And she goes,
Stay out of trouble, Dolores.
always staying out of trouble.
I thought Dolores was gay.
I thought so too. That's why I was trying to get her to hang out with my daughter.
Dolores has complicated feelings about things. If we could do a half hour just Dolores, like that's cool. I'm down with that. But
Dolores is free to be Dolores.
I'll just tell you what she's up to.
Half hour, Dolores hour.
Or Dolores episode. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Dolores is absolutely in love with Kylie and Anouk, but also playing along with, Stuart's a very good boy. I like Stuart. So
I've never played that game. So yeah, I come back and I say, Dolores might think Anouk knows something about this. Taryn?
I mean, I can ask her.
I try to make it my business not to hang around little girls.
I mean, it's definitely a little unorthodox for me to visit her even now. Like, when she comes to see me, though, I could always just see. I can ask her. I do need to check in to see how she's been feeling since the, everything.
Yeah. If we could just keep the rumor mill to a minimum, that'd
Yes.
be great. I'm gonna call it a night. If you guys need anything, send Durr. He's probably asleep at my place.
I will. Okay. I'm gonna go check out this lamb.
Do you need any assistance?
Only if you would like to, but it's not pretty.
I've seen many things in my travels. I can deal with the mutilation of an animal.
She's like, that makes one of us. All right. Like, she's done this before, but she's not on, like, a baby lamb, so she's kind of sad about it.
So yeah, I'll follow Tyrn back to her home so we can, I guess, do this autopsy.
I don't think I can give you a spout lore on an autopsy, I'm afraid.
No. I don't think you can, other than the only thing I can say there is I do know about death.
Okay. All right.
But
tell me about your process and then roll discern realities.
well, Y incisions didn't exist yet. But, she gets out a little table and kind of puts a clean cloth on it, and she starts by kind of lighting some candles and doing like a little ritual and a little prayer for the poor baby lamb. And then she puts on some gloves and gets some equipment, some knives and things, and starts very carefully cutting in. And she starts with the stomach area because she wants to see how much got into the system. But after that, she wants to go do some research on rituals that might involve innocent lives. Basically starting to see, she wants to confirm that the Nightshade is the killer first.
Regarding the physical examination, I don't think that Brahm will be much help for the ritual part, but for the physical investigation, I'd like to assist, and I think that takes the form of Braun being very steady when it comes to the animal, and I don't want to say clinical, but more detached. Like, I imagine that in the time that he traveled, like, they had to put down horses sometimes and they broke a leg, or they'd come across something that was trapped and in pain. Like, he's familiar with having to do distasteful things and see that sort of thing, but also produces an extraordinarily sharp knife for Tyrn to use for the incision and the examination.
That's all good assistance. So, Tyrn, you can roll 3 dice and take the top 2.
Well, I already got a decent roll, but I will do that. Okay, it's the same. So I got a 10.
Okay. Well, ask away. What do you find inside this sheep corpse?
Where did the move go? I have too many things open. Okay. Oh, there it is. I have 3 questions. So, what is not what it appears to be?
Okay. I'll answer that. The sheep's stomach is about half full of salt.
That's
Not like salt from like kosher salt or sea salt or whatever. Like full flaky salt. But yeah, there's salt in there, and you do find some more nightshade, but there's a lot of salt.
That's weird. Okay. What happened here recently?
So using your CSI skills, you determine that for whatever reason, the sheep would not just eat nightshade. Like they would they would eat that if they were desperate, especially because there's lots of nice leafy grass around. So we sort of have a working theory that's like this sheep ate so much salt that it became basically like, I just need to just get whatever I can. Flowers are a little bit more flavorful and like water, or having the water in them. I can't remember the word for it. And so
Succulent.
the salt led to eating the nightshade. Succulent, thank you. The salt led to eating the nightshade, led to the poison. But the sheep probably wouldn't have been great with that much salt in its stomach anyway.
Yeah. I'm like, there's ones I want to ask that I feel like you don't find out from an autopsy, so...
You can ask.
Who or what is really in control here?
You don't know precisely which ritual to look up, but you know that this is a ritual that sometimes is used to summon one of the things below.
Okay. And I picked that up in my well-versed, so I do know the things below now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's kind of like looking it over and kind of looks at Braun, and she's like, this poor lamb, like, somehow it ate this much salt and then sought out something it would normally not eat. I mean, they're usually pretty smart about what can and can't be eaten. And I think it's connected to a ritual, which is bad.
Is the salt wet or is it dry?
I mean, I imagine it's a combo of the two because stomach acid.
Well, like if it was okay, I wasn't sure about, I guess when I heard full of salt, I was just thinking like, oh, you cut it open and all this dry salt,
salt sugar.
yeah, comes out. But it's been
it is mostly dry, but yeah, like it did get cooked in some stomach acid, so it's a little soupy, but it's mostly dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm guessing it's like chunks. Like it's not good.
Yeah. So, Tyrn provided your analysis that you think that it ate the nightshade because it ate too much salt and was just trying to get any kind of moisture to take care of it. Okay.
It was just hydration at that point, which would trick it into eating something it can't eat.
But that would have to be present in the first place, so we still...
So
someone was providing that doesn't grow naturally.
I have to do more research, but there are rituals connected to the things below. Like I said, I think it's... I don't think this is a
like
good...
gophers?
The things below in this case are like... What? They're like weird...
They're pretty undefined, so you can just say whatever you...
Okay, so... The way I'm picturing it is like weird earthy creature things that have almost... honestly, there was a movie I saw that's kind of how I picture it. It's basically like these humanoid-esque figures that have, but are almost like they're made of like dirt and branches and, I feel like they're almost demonic a little bit. Like, sharp fingers and fangs and, glowing eyes. Like, they're not good news.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That sounds about right. Yeah. That's what I've heard, too.
That's how I picture them. This was not a good movie, but for anyone who's seen The Hole in the Ground, that is how I picture the creatures. It was not a A24 film.
In the South, they call them Mulorn, and they are blamed for many tragedies. I thought they were just a myth, but you think they might actually be real and involved in this somehow?
Oh no, they're real. That I can confirm. The summoning of them, though, is not usually something. A lot of people like to mess with things they don't quite understand or know how to deal with, and the things below are something I'm learning about fairly recently, but it's not wise to mess with them. We could have easily run into them into the wilds when we weren't down in that hole. And we're lucky we set fire to it, to be honest.
That close to the surface? I mean, that seems.
We were unsuspecting travelers. They would have come up. They would have had to come up quite a ways, but.
Are they known to do things like enlarge creatures for attack? I mean, that spider was an unusual size. Do you think it was some sort of a pet or being trained to attack?
I would say that's more of a wilds and the spirits of the wilds thing than a things below thing. I'm just gonna keep making up the lore of this game.
I think we are, until Emily says no. Well, I'm glad I sleep on the second floor then.
They don't like populated cities much, so they tend to prefer their prey come to them. But someone is I don't know if it's a summoning ritual or a give thanks ritual. That's a weird way to describe it, but sometimes giving life or souls to something is a way of giving something to get something, kind of exchange, or to give, like how some cultures will do sacrifices to have a good crop.
Sure, an equivalent exchange. It creates value for all parties involved. I'm very very familiar with such things, but usually not in such a gruesome manner. He said, looking over at the dead sheep, the dead lamb.
Yeah, she kind of switcher it back up because
right.
She's like, I will give this boy or this lamb a proper burial later.
Well, if you have research to do, I can leave you to it if you wish. I don't want to distract you, especially where such vile creatures may be concerned. We need all of the accurate information we can get. And
unless you're prone to taking some notes and reading, I definitely think this is going to be my area of expertise.
I think I may be more hindrance than help in this cause. But if you want, I can take care of the lamb for you.
Yes, just do something nice for it. It's poor little. I feel so bad. It's so young. This isn't fair.
Agreed. It's going to be difficult for everyone, and I hope that you can help us get to the bottom of this.
I will certainly try my best, and she's going to give you the lamb and start cleaning up to get the books out.
I am going to fast forward to morning because it seems like most people are going off. I assume Tyrion will be up all night, but it sounds like most people are going off to their respective houses. So I want to cut over to Carlo, who we haven't heard from in a bit. Tell me what it's like waking up at the widow's house. What's her house like?
I let her know that it looks like I'm gonna be away again.
Where do you think you'll be off to this
time? The shepherds are out in the high plateaus, and yeah, there's something going on.
There's always something going on. Couldn't you just stay?
I suspect I will be greatly missed with crops needing to come in. Can you keep an eye on Kylie?
Yes, though, if you wish to have someone keep an eye on her, perhaps you should do it yourself.
My plan is to take her with me.
Okay.
You know how young girls can be, though.
Yes, I was one once myself.
I don't want to burden you with an extra mouth to feed and one to look after. But she's looking for trouble.
Yes. Well, if I hear anything more, I'll let you know. You're sure it has to be you? You couldn't just send your men? Honestly, if you sent the dog could probably figure it out. It's a very bright dog.
He's a very bright dog.
I just have...
And she can look at me and see. It's not that I'm a little spooked about going.
I know you need to go, and I know you are the one who has to go. I just wish you did not, for I have, in spite of myself, become fond of you.
And in spite of myself, I've become fond of you too.
She leans up and gives you a short kiss, and right as the kiss is about to become something more, Dur is barking outside. I'll wait for you.
I'll come back. I get dressed and head to the door.
Dur is there, and you can communicate with Dur, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The mayor has asked you to come to Ilsa's tavern. The Gone. Bron, where are you waking up this morning?
I think Bron is waking up in his home, his apartment above his shop, or trading emporium, and I think alone tonight, and then he will head down, sort of make himself a little bit of breakfast, and get ready to go out and talk to the mayor to make excuses about not being in the fields today, in order to assist with the lambs.
There is a knock at your door, and Wynn is there. And Wynn says, I was hoping I would catch you. I'm sure you were already on your way to the fields.
In just moments, yes. Can I interest you in a sausage or some oatmeal?
Oh, do you have some of the hot bitter drink that you often have? The coffee?
Yes, of course. I should be getting some more soon, but I'm happy to share with you as always, and I will go about making the coffee.
They look around the small room and finally say, Fenwick was at the bar last night and rather troubling, if I do say so. Speaking about ghosts and all manner of strange creatures, that he could feel them all around him. And we finally had to subdue him and bring him home to his wife. I think he may not be fit for the pastures again.
Maybe not. I spoke with him and he seemed reasonable. I'm sorry that caused difficulty for him, but
someone gave him a rather large gold coin and he used it to buy mini drinks.
Yes, they'll. I can make sure that person doesn't make that same decision again in the future. I know that it can be difficult when they come back having been away for so long and then suddenly having money in your pocket to take care of it. But I'm sure that it was just stories. You know how Fenwick likes to tell stories. I think he was saying something about Durr being as big as a house the other night. I found it very amusing. But
Wynn says, very, very deadpan. Yes, and you fought the Fairy King to a draw. That's what I had heard. We all know how true that is.
well, it wasn't just me. That would be immodest to say something. It was all of us. We all fought the Fairy King.
And it wasn't just dumb luck that got you out of there?
No, no. Actually, it was a very skillful move on Ilsa's part.
That I believe.
I'm wounded. How?
As you are serving up the breakfast, and Wynn is taking a few bites, enjoying the sausage and coffee and everything, there's a knock at your door, and Dolores is there. And she says, hi, the mayor wants to see you at Ilsa's Tavern.
Just who I wanted to speak with.
Let's see what Tyrn, did you fall asleep at all?
No. I feel like she went full into the books and basically just was like stressed. So I'm sure there was a moment where she dozed off here and there, but for the most part, she was up all night, and she looks like that morning she finally got she kind of cleaned off and took off her clothes because they were still autopsy clothes. So she's changed, but she hasn't like rested really. And she, I think at one point was like kind of tempted to use her ice sphere and was just like trying to figure out what the things below could want with lands.
There, while you are sort of looking at whatever it is that you're looking at this morning, making yourself breakfast or reading one last book or whatever, you hear something out of you hear something out of the corner of your eye. You hear something off to the side, and when you look over, the Great One is there, just out of nowhere.
She kind of like, she is definitely, she does not look her best, and she is like, she's been just deep in these books, and there's like piles of them everywhere, and she's like, oh, to what do I owe the honor?
You smell of blood.
I had to do an autopsy on a baby lamb, trying to figure out why someone would want to kill such innocent creatures.
I cannot stay for very long. As you know, we cannot be away from the woods for a long period of time, but I sensed you might be in danger, and I wished to see you.
She kind of blushes, and she's like, someone is, I think, trying to contact the things below, and I am trying to figure out how to stop that from happening.
Yes. So you are in danger, or I struggle so with your language. You will be in danger. I think that's the tense.
I guess it depends on how much I have to do. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to do something. So yes. She kind of nods. She's like, yeah, I'm fully aware of my foolhardiness.
Yes, I know you. I know you well. I know you will. I know you will be off helping them. It is why you would make such a good fairy queen.
She's like, she kind of blushes and she's like, well, I'm sorry if the townsfolk are saying some terrible stories about you.
I know you have to say certain things to maintain your position within the town. Now, I can answer one question. I will answer truthfully. I will not answer you anything about myself, but I will tell you one thing.
She kind of is, she's like, I've been studying these books all night. I know this isn't connected to your people at all, and you've been wrongfully blamed for this in the past. Is there something in the wilds that a human might try to foolishly contact, or would do this?
he looks all around and finally looks at you and says, "There are some among my people who would love if they were no longer bound by the trees and the woods and the places that are wild, if they were no longer relegated there by the likes of men. And there are some among my people who believe that our former masters, the lords who made us and imprisoned us until we threw off their shackles and sent them deep below, there are those among us who think that if they returned, they would help us with this. I am not one of those. But you said this happened on a high plateau?
Mm-hmm.
Then yes, it was not one of us. We could not have gotten there. But someone who perhaps has mutual interests with those who would like to bring about the end of days.
I will. She kind of just smiles and she's like, "Thank you for your kindness and your information. I will start looking around to see if there's anyone who has such sympathies."
There is he does a little something with his hands and a whistle suddenly appears and he hands it to you and says, "You can blow this one time and I will be there in an instant."
She takes it and once again her face is turning so red and she's just like, "Thank you. I really do appreciate the kindness you have shown me and my people in my town."
Yes.
She's like, Can I hug you? Is that allowed?"
Yes, you may. And as he stretches his arms out to give you a hug, you wake up from a dead sleep. But there is a whistle in your hand.
She's like, she wakes up, her hair is, this is full Anna from Frozen, hair everywhere, and she's just like, I should ask for more than a hug.
And there's a knock at the door, and it's Lyra who says, "The mayor wants to see you. It's something about sheep." And I said I could tell her about sheep, but she wanted to talk to you instead, and you have to go to the Gone because that's where everyone's going. And she said, "I can't go because kids can't go to the Gone because I can't get a drink, but I could get a drink. I could get water or something. That would be good. Don't you think that would be good?"
Water is very good for you, but I will tell you, all of your knowledge about sheep and sheep sicknesses have been very, very helpful. So thank you for being so smart.
Did any sheep get sick?
Just a couple, but you're helping. You told me how to fix it, so I'm fixing it.
Oh, good. So you're going to make them get all better.
Yes.
You didn't leave the sheep corpse there, right?
No.
You said that with Braun.
No. Braun has it.
Bronze like
And she looks down and sees that there's like still some blood on your hands. And is like, "What's that?"
She kind of like looks. She's like, "Oh, I need to shower." Or whatever.
We have showers.
Oh, you and your fancy university showers.
I need to bucket.
Wash up, I guess. And she kind of looks at her hands and she's like, "It is ink.
Oh.
I'm going
Okay. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's red ink. I was marking some tests up."
Okay.
Pants on fire.
She looks at you a little bit and she's like, "Oh, okay. And then she scampers off in the other direction. And she turns back and says, "Are you getting married to a fairy?"
She's like, "I have not said anything yet about that." And she kind of looks at the whistle. She's like, "I don't know," and shuts the door.
So you'll all. Does anybody have anything they want to do before they go to the bar? The tavern?
Tyrion is going to clean up.
Okay.
I make sure there are no boys at my house.
Okay. Um,
Uh,
it's just Kylie because Dolores went up to see Braun. Kylie's the only one there. No, they had those boys came over. It was very nice. They just played a good game of parsnips, and then the boys left. That's all. That's all, Dad. That's all. We played parsnips.
I was there. I'm not worried about it.
I will. Wanting to rush to go see the mayor since he's been summoned, Braun will thrust his half mug of coffee to Dolores, to hungover Dolores, and say, "You look like you may need this."
Oh gosh, thank you. Oh boy. And Dolores takes the mug of coffee and is just like, the mayor's sure pretty, right?
Definitely, she is a fine figure of a woman.
Yeah, I just noticed that yesterday. It's the thing I just noticed.
Broad just nods.
Yeah. Anybody else want to do anything before going to the Gone? As you trickle in there, Heron, the mayor, is sitting there at the table where those two old men normally sit. She has sent the old men to the fields. So it's just the three of you, and then Ilsa is wiping down the bar in the background, just listening in. And once you all get there, Heron closes the door to the bar and says, Stonetop needs help in this moment, and since you were so good with when the girls disappeared, I was hoping the four of you would be one of the teams we send out.
Of course.
And, Marshall, I was hoping that you would send some of your men. I have three things that I need done. Three things. And they cannot all be done by the same people, so I was going to let you have the first pick.
We are happy to serve the town, and Braun does a bow with like a fancy flourish as if he was wearing a hat, which he's not wearing a hat, but he's pretending that he's wearing a hat with this fancy flourish.
Yes, I see why you were so impressive in combat. Look, the lambs have died. It's a setback, but it's not devastating. I do not know what happened. It's very strange. We will survive. It will be a lean year next year, but we will survive. I do need someone to go to the markets in the city whose name Emily can't remember. In the city, there's a city off to the south where there's a lot of trading done. I need someone to go down to the markets. I have this small purse of silver and purchase a few young yearlings to help replenish the flock next year so we can have more breeding than we typically do. I need perhaps someone to go off to the hill folk and see if they know anything. You know how hard they sometimes will be with outsiders, how little they like to let outsiders in. And then I need someone to ride all the way south to the other city. Emily's name can't remember, but she will tell you in a second. Ride all the way to the south and see if you can find the great scholar Erasmus, who can perhaps help us determine what is happening here, because I fear there is something very dark at work.
Well, it's interesting that you have brought these tasks to us. We have also known about the sheep. Fenwick was quite distressed, and Brina asked me to speak with him, and have been doing some research into what's going on. Tyrn, do you have information that you might want to share with the mayor?
Well, if I'm being quite honest, I would like to seek out the scholar to see if their information matches mine, but I have it on good authority that this could be someone who wishes to summon the things below through a ritual with the lands.
Things below. That can't possibly be. No. What's the things below are myth.
No, they're not. Just kind of smiles shyly and is like, they're real.
6 months ago, we thought that the King of the Fairies was a myth as well. Who knows what we'll know next season?
You didn't come now. You didn't actually fight the King of the Fairies. You went into the woods and you probably saw a bear and ran away from it. I know you, Braun.
Mayor Heron, what's clear is that in recent weeks, things have been happening that are quite unusual. And I can send men to town. Zeb knows the next town over. And he's reliable. And he won't get lost. And he won't lose a bag of silver.
I was hoping that if you did not take on a certain task, you would send your men. I guess the name of the town is Gordon's Delve. I don't know why I couldn't remember that earlier.
We can absolutely, if Tyrion says she needs to see the plateau,
I'm familiar with both those towns as well. I would be happy to escort Tyrion down to the other city.
Tyrion, is that what we need to do, or should we go to the plateau?
We definitely should send your men to buy the flock to buy the yearlings. But
yep.
I personally would like to speak with the scholar, but if the hill folk and the plateau are where we should are also an option, I can learn a lot there as well. I just having someone to cross-reference and bounce ideas off of might be helpful.
What I know is going to the south will take almost a season to return. And if there's something that started, I don't know the time frame on this.
Then maybe we should just head to the plateau and see what we can do. If the hill folk know anything.
If I may make a suggestion, we may wish to ask if Wynn's family would intercede. I know that they are considered outsiders here in Stonetop, but their people, while insular, do come from the hill people, and they may have a calming effect on requesting information and keeping tensions at a minimum.
Yes, that's I could look into that. I will say that I have written to the scholar, and he is willing to travel as far as Marsh Edge, which is about 2 weeks away. So you wouldn't have to travel, several months. But he is willing to meet you in the middle at Marsh Edge.
Kieran is from.
Oh, interesting. It's not like that was picked for a reason.
Tyrion kind of looks like, okay, she kind of looks very upset about that, but she's like, we could go to Marsh Edge.
Can I pick up any sort of, obviously I know that Blythe is acting here for us, but does Braun pick up that there is something off about Tyrion wanting to go back to Marsh Edge?
Roll discern realities.
Okay.
Is this it?
Then you get to ask. Tyrion. And Tyrion, you don't have to give up your secrets, but
that's a 9.
So you get to ask one question.
And I think, let me just check if I have a buff on that. The thing that I do have is that I can also ask, what opportunity does no one else see to the list on there, but I don't think that that's going to be particularly appropriate in this case. So, um, I would say then the one that makes the most sense, I suppose, is what here is not as it appears to be, in the context that, to the best of my knowledge, prior to this, Tyrn hadn't expressed any embarrassment or difficulty about Marsh Edge, and now I'm picking up that there's something going on about that. So, is there anything that Tyrn would do that would be kind of giving more clues, like fidgeting with a specific thing, or a blush, or anything like that? I suppose is the information I'm looking for.
So you would know Tyrion's never really mentioned where she's from.
Okay.
She's talked about going to school, she's talked about travels, but she's never really talked about her hometown.
Okay.
So you wouldn't know where she's from. You would just know the school she went to, and like that's all she talks about. She talks about the university as her home, basically. In this case, you would notice she turns paler, and she put the whistle on a necklace and has it tucked into her shirt, and she is kind of fidgeting with the necklace.
Okay.
You don't see what it is, but she has it like tucked in and is kind of fidgeting.
Does it look more like embarrassment or more like fear? Or anxiousness?
Anxious, discomfort, nervousness.
Okay. So I'll just kind of file that down, that there's something about Marsh Edge that's putting you on edge. Does that sound fair? Okay.
Yeah. She doesn't look. She just looks unhappy about it, but she's trying. You can tell she's trying to smile her way through it.
But
Okay.
she wants to go.
Well, she wants to meet the the sage, the scholar. Marsh Edge is just a complication that was thrown in there. Oh no, it's okay. We don't have to meet in the middle. I don't mind coming to you.
Yeah, she kind of smiles and she's just like, well, if that that does make it easier on us to meet him there. He has to have valuable information, and she kind of just like, I mean, I would be very curious to meet another scholar. It's been a while since I've met any or talked to any.
Well, I leave the choice up to the four of you. I need all three tasks accomplished, and I will make sure that all of them are done in time for the fall. But you are the closest thing this city has to heroes.
Carlo, how much experience does Zeb have with buying livestock and haggling with merchants? I wouldn't want him to be taken advantage of. I mean, I know he's experienced and has been around the world several times, but I would just want to make sure that he and anyone else that you send, I mean, some of them are children. I don't want. I want to make sure that whatever we come back with is going to help in our cause and not hinder us.
If possible, could we draft Fenwick in with this? Zeb can drive a hard bargain, and he won't be taken advantage of. But I can't say that he would be picking the best sheep.
With fewer shepherds out in the pastures, we could afford to spare one shepherd. Yes, we could send Fenwick.
And Zeb wouldn't be put off by ghost stories and fear mongering.
Oh, Zeb would lean into ghost stories and fearmongering.
Well, as long as he keeps Fenwick on the straight and narrow path, then perhaps his expertise could be well used to pick the best yearlings available. And with his ability to drive a hard bargain, it sounds as though we may have a plan if we go meet the famous scholar. Zeb, Fenwick, and whoever else is needed can go to the Grayson's Gorge?
Gordon's Delve.
Gordon's Delve. And then perhaps Wynn's family and perhaps another representative from Stonetop can speak with the hill people and find out what information they may have.
I myself had been thinking about breaking bread with the hill people. I had thought of traveling with whoever went that direction. If you are to take this long of a voyage, would you like to bring anyone with you, or will the four of you be enough?
I have a young archer in mind that I would be bringing with me.
Okay, and I assume you will bring the dog.
I was actually thinking of sending the dog with you.
Oh, that would be quite kind. I hear the dog can get as large as a house.
That is not true.
That is apparently the one thing she believes.
An outhouse, perhaps, but not a full house.
There is just a dog, but he will guard your life ferociously if needed.
And Braun says, "Yes, just a dog," and winks copiously at the mare outside of Carlo's view.
He just kind of shakes his head. Yeah. So, I guess we're headed south.
Yes. All right. Well,
perhaps we can spend the day to prepare and leave early tomorrow.
Yes, please. Yes, there is not a significant time element here. You may leave in the morrow. For my own peace of mind, I think I will send Heinrich with you as well. Heinrich is this old man who used to be Stonetop's hero. He carries a hammer everywhere. He's kind of losing his mind, but everyone is just like, "Oh, Heinrich, if he's there, you'll be safe." So I will send Heinrich with you. See, now you'll be safe.
Great. Between Heinrich and I'm sure I know your archer follower's name, but I don't have it in front of me here.
Yeah.
Between
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, what's his name?
Kylie.
Oh, it's Kylie. Okay. I wasn't sure which one it was. Between Heinrich and Kylie, I'm sure we'll be well protected from any brigands that we may chance upon.
And you'll be traveling on the Maker's Roads. There can be no violence on the Maker's Roads.
No, of course. And worst case scenario, we'll bring a chair for my Tyrn to smack someone with.
Yeah. Well.
And Ilsa's mighty arm, also with a hammer. I'm sensing a theme here.
I think we'll be okay, but we could probably use some cloaks and supplies to keep ourselves warm.
Of course. I will provide whatever you need within reason. Think of what you might wish to have, and we will make sure it is done.
I'm well experienced as a caravaner. I'll be happy to help procure and provide a list for our expedition.
All right. I'm going to, I think, break here because now is the part when we have to gear up and figure out what we want. Think about that between sessions. I want to make sure that Mac is involved in that conversation as well. So that's why I'm going to break here. But I was going to have a more exciting cliffhanger, but now we know you're going south. I will tell you this: the journey will take about 2 weeks there. You can resupply there, so you're bringing supplies for 2 weeks. It'll take about 2 weeks. and the weather can be very unpredictable.
Of course.
You are mostly traveling on the Maker's roads, which are very safe. Their violence cannot be committed on them, but if you are somehow lured off, it is very dangerous. So that is what you will be doing next time. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Yeah, that is the end of the session. We hope you enjoyed it, and join us on March 15th when we will be playing our next session, which will be like our halfway point. That's pretty wild. If you want to catch up on past episodes, visit happyjacks.org/Stonetop. And if you want to find all the other APs on the Happy Jacks network, visit happyjacks.org/shows. Let's hear what folks are up to. Nick, what else are you doing?
Currently nothing else streamed. I've finally taken some time and I'm playing some games that are just personal. But you can find me on Twitter at Sungrowler, as it says underneath my face right here. I'm sometimes very amusing, at least to me, and that's what really matters anyway. So join if you want, and hopefully I don't offend.
I have also been playing games just for fun that aren't streamed anywhere, and it doesn't feel real.
Yeah,
like it doesn't feel like it's actually happening. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Mo, what are you up to?
I too am taking some time off from other streams. I'll see you guys back on the 15th. And you can find me on Twitter at ashyfeet1, and you can find some of my work at ashyfeet.com.
Blythe.
Yeah, you can find me across the internets on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at BlytheKala93. That's BLYTHEKALA93. I have one last session of Star Wars Silence in the Force coming up, that on twitch.tv/it's probably okay. That's 10 a.m. on Saturdays. If you haven't seen any of it, we have VODs on probably OK Games. That's the letter OK. I've been having a lot of fun, and my players have really run rampant with that. So I hope you take a listen, because I feel like my players have really made it amazing, and I'm very, very proud for my first long-term streamed DMing. I am very, very happy with it. Other than this, that is everything I am doing right now. Keep an eye on my Twitter. I tend to post when I do new things there. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Yeah, you can find me on twitter.com/EmilyVDW. I play here every other Monday night, and then on other Monday nights, I'm playing a Great American Witch game with my friends that I'm not streaming. So you can just imagine what that's like. It's very good. But yeah, twitter.com/EmilyVDW, and we will see you here again on March 15th. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
I have three more little quick things. One, if they do want to know what you are like in a Great American Witch game, I think they can go back into the AP and check that out, since you did play one of those on alternating Mondays. Two, I want to say that I highly recommend going and checking out Silence in the Force, because I've been listening to it on Saturdays while I work, and it has been quite enjoyable. And if you like us, then you'll have a great time on that show as well. Unless you hate Star Wars, in which case, I don't know what to tell you. So, and the last thing I want to say is that if Stonetop is interesting to you and you're enjoying this world that we're in the process of creating, please check out the Kickstarter. It's going on right now. I'm saying this on March 1st. And I believe there is still some time after our next show as well. It looks like it's going for a while. But check it out. It looks like a really great setting. You don't see a lot of things that are specifically set up as Iron Age, and while we're not exactly hewing to that exactly, it is a really cool setup. So if we had the website or anything in front of us, that'd be great. But if you go to Kickstarter and you put in Stonetop, I'm pretty sure it'll come up for you.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty it's a great game. You actually get 2 books if you buy it. You get a book of the rules, and then you get a giant almanac of lore, and what more could you possibly want? But yeah, it's by a company called Penny Lantern, and you can find it at Kickstarter.com. Search for Stonetop, it comes right up. Yeah. So that's all.
The hand drawings are gorgeous from what I've seen. So check it out if you're enjoying this, and bring some Stonetop into your own life.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Please go check it out on Kickstarter because I gave a quote, and you want to read my quote. That's like a pull quote. That's like Emily Vanderwerf said. But yes, thank you so much for listening. We will see you again on March 15th. And until then, keep stone topping.
Hold on, I gotta stop us.